Oh, Lordy. I'm surprised she didn't don some kind of new costume for this Orwellian, tyrannical, globalist UN plan that the Trump administration is carrying out.
Please do your part to protect our country. Go today and don't delay. To learn more, go to dhs.gov/real-id.
Yeah, do your part to be a good citizen here, as of course go along with this universal program that's being implemented with facial recognition programs backed by the United Nations plan to digitize air transportation, travel, and to, of course, track, trace, and database every single human being on the face of this earth. As we had major presidential executive decisions previously beforehand, kicking the can down the road. But it looks like right now, Kristi Noem, the head of DHS, is going forward with this plan that many presidents never wanted to implement because of its grave implications that Ron Paul was warning us about all the way back since its kind of initiation, going all the way back to the Patriot Act, as of course the same people that rushed in the Patriot Act, a huge bill that eviscerates and destroys our rights and privacies right after 2001. That was impossible to write in the short amount of time since the events of September 11th, 2001, and then to its, of course, publication. They had the bill beforehand, as now a lot of questions are revealed here to, hey, what did the government know here, as Tucker Carlson is one of the few individuals that is asking questions, and I think he's asking the questions directly right now in correlation to the wider discussion that's happening around Real ID, as it's important to note here, there's now rumors and speculation of right-wing content creators being paid off to specifically promote this idea. Some people are asking, what's the big idea? It's a big idea. It's a huge idea here that is angering anyone who cares about civil liberties and overall just, freedom and the basic concepts of not having the government in your life. Now, the government has decided to play a very intrusive role in your particular life after the events of 2001 in New York City that happened, that took the lives of many innocent people. As now, when you go back to that event that gave the government the excuse to destroy our economy, our constitution, our way of life, that used to be a lot better than it was before then, especially when it came to, causing more trouble, building up more terrorists, and financing the larger economic destruction of the American middle and lower class. As now, Tucker Carlson, in this key moment, is asking some very serious questions about those particular events, as he just released this particular video after he did an interview with a former member of the U.S. government that is now whistleblowing about, hey, the events of 9/11, absolutely something that deserves to be questioned to the fullest extent, since, of course, we were lied to by the U.S. government about it. This has been an issue close to my heart for an extremely long time, ever since the early 2000s. This has been something that I have personally taken it upon myself to try to educate the general public about in massive ways. And I have talked to a lot of the whistleblowers, a lot of the survivors, a lot of the witnesses that have testified, and overwhelmingly gave me enough circumstantial evidence to conclude that without a shadow of a doubt, the U.S. government is lying and hiding some very key important details about the events of 9/11 that now Tucker Carlson is finally asking some questions about.
We recorded the interview you're about to watch 5 days ago, and I've been thinking about it ever since. It's with a former congressman from Pennsylvania called Curt Weldon. Curt Weldon was a very significant figure in Washington 20 years ago. He was not some obscure backbencher. He was one of the most powerful Republicans in the Congress, about to take over the Armed Services Committee, until he asked questions about the official story on 9/11, at which point the Bush administration sent the FBI to his daughter's house, destroyed her life, never charged her with a crime, and effectively got Curt Weldon bounced out of Congress.
That's not a coincidence, as of course there are hit jobs by intel agencies that of course don't want you asking questions about this particular event, as it looks like this member of Congress was getting a little bit too close to comfort towards asking some legitimate questions that the intel agencies didn't want answered, as of course they played a major role in all of this, as these 9/11 hijackers, by the way, weren't just staying with FBI informants, but these guys were setting off red flags everywhere they went. They're like, hey, we don't need to learn how to land here. We don't need any of that. as they were forcefully allowed into this country by the CIA that intervened in their visa process. And when Michael Springman, specifically in the Jeddah consulate, came out and said, yo, these guys are jihadis, these guys are terrorists, we can't have these guys in the country, denied their applications, denied their entry into the United States, the CIA intervened twice and said, no, you're going to allow these guys in. Because we're telling you to allow these guys in. And then they came in, and then 15 of the 19 of them that were forcefully allowed in from Saudi Arabia. They're those the guys that hijacked the airplanes and followed essentially Operation Northwoods, as previously described and carried out that previous presidents denied. Yeah, interesting.
I haven't talked to him in 20 years. I didn't know exactly what to expect, but this conversation, the one you're about to see, raises far more questions than I ever anticipated. This is not a crazy person. These are not crazy questions. He makes no claims he doesn't have personal firsthand evidence of. When it ended, I asked him how many other officials who were in and around Washington during 9/11 have similar questions. And he said to me, as far as I know, all of them, and he's still in touch with a lot of those people. After this conversation,
but a lot of them, and I could testify to this as well. A lot of very prominent, very powerful people know that, hey, we're absolutely being lied to, and they're too afraid to even say anything. As it doesn't take a rocket science, it doesn't take a genius to figure out, why is the government not trying to figure out what happened here? Why is the government covering up all the details surrounding the funding, the investment? Why are they keeping information classified and secret away from the general public about this one event that we should be doing everything in our power to prevent from happening ever again? And if we really wanted that to happen, there would be a big upheaval in the national security state that, in my opinion, played a major role in facilitating and allowing 9/11 to happen.
Which, again, we've been thinking about ever since. I thought it might be time to look a little more deeply into the 9/11 Commission report. Was it accurate? 9/11 changed the United States forever. Those of us who remember it, who lived through it, can tell you this was a different country afterward, completely.
Yep, and that's why we're dealing with the real ID right now, because of that particular day.
Different and not a better country. And so there is no more significant historical event in the lifetimes of any living American than 9/11. And the fact that there are still outstanding questions about what exactly happened and why is troubling. Up until this point, most of the people who've addressed these questions are either crazy or seem slightly crazy. Now is the time for a sober look, not a wild-eyed, speculative look, but an honest look and honest conversations with people who participated in the response to that day, government officials. And so we're going to do that. We are planning right now a multi-part documentary series on 9/11, and we hope to bring that to you as soon as we possibly can.
Yep, that's going to be a pretty important bombshell type of documentary that I'm going to probably try to text Tucker and say, like, hey, you should probably interview this person and this person. Again, we got a lot to talk about. The little tidbits here of this member of Congress talking about WTC 7 and other things, very important. Ron Paul, what he was speaking about here. But before getting into all of that, don't forget to support this independent media network. You could get a shirt. We just updated the shirt, and now it says 2028 Tucker Carlson for president on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. We also have wearechange.shop. We got a lot of great products available to you that I like. I just had my lunch. With my lunch, I had my fish oils. I like fish oils. My doctor recommended I take some fish oils after looking at some of my blood work. I looked up my blood work on those AI sites, and they're like, yeah, you should probably take some fish oil. I have, and then my blood test results actually improved. I love to do my research. I love to do my due diligence. Lots of the kind of fishes out there, and fish oils are usually sometimes from big fish. You don't want that. They're more susceptible to, of course, heavy metals like mercury and other toxins that big fish are more susceptible to. These are small fish sourced specifically from sardines and other smaller fish to create this fish oil that I absolutely love. I take before taking anything into your own body. Do your own due diligence, do your own research, but I like this stuff as the data, specifically with smokers and fish oil, very surprising. So if you know a smoker in your life, be like, hey, look up smoking and fish oil, and then go check out wearechange.shop, as this is the way to fully next level up your health, which I think is more important than ever during these key crucial times here. Now let's see what this member of Congress had to say, as I think, these types of conversations are needed now more than ever, especially with the backdrop of the potential passage and the institutionalizing of the real ID, which is a part of a UN globalist governance plan to spy and, of course, create a cashless digital social credit score like society.
7, and all the wackos would be like, building 7. I'd be like, shut up, wackos. And then if you just sort of look at it, you're like, well, that is very weird, actually. No plane hit that building. And does this happen a lot when buildings catch fire? Right. Okay.
Besides being a firefighter, I work for the INA, largest insurance company in North America. I was responsible for training their fire protection arson people for 18 years. That doesn't happen. Only high-rise buildings in the world that have ever come down from an airplane hitting them. And those buildings, I read the report from the architect who designed them. They were designed to withstand an airplane hitting the building and standing tall.
And especially Building 7, which had no plane hit it. Right.
No plane hit it. And the building just, you can see it when you watch it on TV, it just implodes straight down.
Yeah, and then, of course, we talked to eyewitnesses that were there, individuals who were working there, and they were told, yeah, get out. They're going to take this building down. There's individuals there that talked about, oh, yeah, there was a countdown, all the way from, 1 to 10, and, 10 to 1, excuse me. And then they took it down right in front of us. They were like, oh, yeah, everyone evacuate. They're going to take it out. The owner of the building said, yeah, we just decided to pull the building. I confronted the owner about that multiple times. He didn't like those conversations. As now, we're left to deal with an ever so destroyed country that looks like it's going to be shooting itself in the foot that much more when it comes to destroying our civil liberties. As Ron Paul, then a member of Congress, specifically spoke out against the Real ID, which is a draconian piece of legislation that is absolutely dangerous to our liberties and freedoms.
Recognized for 3 minutes.
Revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of the rule. I rise also in support of the Sessions Amendment. But I also would like to take this time to make a few comments about why I will be voting against the bill. With the utmost sincerity and the deep conviction, I am quite confident that this bill, if you vote for it, you will be voting for a national ID card. And I know some will argue against that, and they say this is voluntary, but it really can't be voluntary. If a state opts out, nobody's going to accept their driver's license. So this is not voluntary.
Yep, and it's forcing a lot of specific chaos all around the United States. And why are we doing this? Why are we complying with a UN globalist vision? Well, of course, that's a question that I think needs to be asked to Donald Trump and Kristi Noem that are just following through with this initiative here. As, of course, we're talking about now chaos in New Jersey, chaos in places like Tennessee and North Carolina, that now has a lot of people dealing with these artificial, made-up deadlines that are really meant to, of course, set up the facial recognition social credit score system that China already has around the world, as we have this article from The Guardian. Boarding passes and check-ins could be scrapped in air travel shakeup. Facial recognition and a journey pass stored on passengers' phones are part of a UN-backed plan to digitize air transportation. Yeah, we're going to make this so convenient. Yeah, you expressed an opinion, especially in Europe. Oh, that we don't like. Yeah, we're just going to deny you the basic ability to, travel, to be able to, of course, transport around. And there's a lot of right-wing influencers right now, and a lot of people are speculating they're being bought off here. And I think there's a big potential that a lot of them are, because either they just love the taste of the frickin' boot in their mouth, or they're being paid off, because there's really no other reason to kind of explain a lot of this kind of statist behavior that is really dangerous towards civil liberties. As, of course, everyone is saying, but they already have my information. What information? Then why are they mandating a new system? Why are we moving in lockstep with other countries that have already implemented it in this total kind of centralization of information? As, of course, when you look into the Real ID Act and you look at the DHS kind of requirements for it, there's going to be a lot more than just your personal information in there about where you live. It's also about your associations. It's also going to be about your political views. I mean, Section 202 of the Real ID Act, which, again, was written by the same sponsors of the Patriot Act, give unfettered discretion of the Secretary of Homeland Security to acquire anything as a condition for you to get a driver's license. And again, Ron Paul exposing this back in the day, as of course he's still exposing it right now, speaking out against it, saying, yeah, this is tyrannical. This is evil. This is something that, of course, we should not be going along with. And why are we? As I think that question is worth asking. Here's the clip of Ron Paul.
Civil libertarian and working for our privacy. That's the most insulting thing, is what Noam said. It was issued to make us safe.
Yeah.
They always turn it and twist it around. It's sort of like, we need the Federal Reserve so nobody ever counterfeits money.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want the monopoly.
Exactly.
This is what this is, monopoly over control. I'm not very happy with the direction we're going right now. It looks like we're going to lose a lot more privacy if this bill gets reopened and made much worse. And
that's exactly what's going on with these kind of low-level, low IQ, emotional manipulation takes by Kristi Noem, who's like, we're going to keep you safe. Yeah, I'm okay, honey. I'm all right. All right. As, of course, this idea is sold to Donald Trump. We're going to be able to stop the bad guys. Okay, just because there's bad guys out there doesn't mean I have to give up my rights. Doesn't mean the government has to know every little frickin' thing about me. And yeah, granted, they're already track tracing and databasing a lot of particular stuff here. But why would you want it in the hands of future governments that, of course, probably overwhelmingly will be democratic and then will be ritualistically abusing the system? And why are you playing along with a UN system that is a globalist system that is there to overwhelmingly implement global slavery and totalitarianism? And Alex Jones is calling it out too. She says, breaking tyranny report. Trump's well-intentional use of the Real ID Act to protect election integrity and deport illegals is a globalist Trojan horse. Absolutely. The same totalitarian globalist that wrote the Patriot Act created the Real ID law to merge the United States into a UN-controlled global government cashless society system. Yeah, the same system that they have in China. That's the plan here. But of course, Kristi Noem's not going to tell you that.
Hi, I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. If you plan on traveling, we need your help to prevent delays and to prove your identity.
No. Excuse me. You need my help. You're the one. You are the one interfering with everyone's plans. Why am I needed to comply based off what you are forcing everyone to do? All right? Why? Okay? Stop it. Stop. Talk to me like I'm a freaking adult, not a child here, okay? Oh, no, you're going to have to do this in order to make sure the delays aren't there. You're creating the delays.
Get a real ID.
Go get registered with the government. Go get registered with the federal government. Yeah, it's going to be great.
May 7th, you will need a real ID to travel by air or to visit federal buildings in the United States.
There's federal agents that were caught many years ago. And before even Snowden came out, we were on this, saying, hey, the government's watching you. They're watching all your private pictures. There was government agents caught whacking off to your private photos that you were sending your loved ones before the Snowden revelations. I confronted the head of the CIA, the head of the NSA. It's like, why are your agents caught beating their meat to private photos that people and the private citizens are saying, it never happened. No way. And of course, the articles and the videos came out. We, of course, knew all about it with our sources. As of course, we were talking about these stories way before anybody else was. And now we're just going along with this nonsense, going along with this insanity. As of course, the government has proven itself not to keep your data secure, right? They leaked your social security numbers, all right? Your social security numbers are on the dark web right now. Why would you want these old, outdated, bureaucratic monsters having more information, more control over you? Okay, if you're a right-wing person, you're probably getting bought off to promote this nonsense. Otherwise, you're just not logically frickin' thinking. And those people deserve to be called out here as much as anyone else here. This is a bad plan. If you agree, share this video. Get it out there. Speak up because, again, this is not well-meaning. This is not well-intentioned. This is just we're gonna treat you like a child. You're gonna be our subject, and that's not the way the government should be running. And this is absolutely a horrible policy that more and more people need to, of course, peacefully speak out against. Right now, more than ever, the administration is looking at people's online social media content. You need to get that conversation started. You need to start. You need to voice your opposition. because this administration might actually act on it like they have previously beforehand. Get this video out there to the general public. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange. Get the supplements, get the shirts on the links in the description below. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more.